Welcome to the Word for Life podcast, a daily devotional covering the entire Bible from Genesis to Revelation.
In Leviticus chapter 2, God gives instructions for another offering called the grain offering. A grain offering was basically uncooked fine flour with oil and fragrance poured over it. Or it can also be thick loaves of bread made of finely ground wheat flour. Or it can also be first fruits. The grain offering usually was offered along with other offerings such as a burnt offering or a fellowship offering. When the Israelites brought this offering, a small part of this offering was burnt on the altar. Friends, as we know, there is a spiritual meaning to this grain offering also. The grain offering stands for the Israelites devoting their work to the Lord. You see, ancient Israelites had to work in the fields to get their grain, and they also had to ground the wheat with their hands to make flour. Therefore, getting food on the table was a result of hard work in the fields. Today we are used to pre-cooked meals and buying flour from the store. Yet for ancient Israel, their primary occupation was working in the fields. And the Lord asked them to bring a small part of their work and devote it to Him. Friends, believers today also recognize the hand of God in their work. It is the Lord who blesses the work of their hands. So believers even today devote part of the rewards of their labor to the Lord. That is why whenever believers give to the Lord, they see that as giving a part of what God has given to them. Also note in the grain offering that the major part of the offering was given to the priests as their food. That is why the Lord calls this grain offering as most holy, because according to the tabernacle rules, meat or food that was most holy means only the consecrated priests can eat it, and also they can eat it only within the sanctuary courtyard. But we could stop here and ask, why would God ask the Israelites to give the major part of the grain offering to the priests serving at the tabernacle? You see, the priests and the Levites were consecrated to the Lord. Therefore, their primary work was to take care of the tabernacle. But this means they had to be supported by the people who came to the tabernacle. Later in the other books of Moses, we will see that when the land was divided among the Israelites, the priests and Levites were not even given an inheritance. This is why the Lord commanded the people of Israel to take care of the priests. Friends, this is relevant even today. God's people take care of their spiritual leaders. They make sure that the ones who provide spiritually for them do not need to worry about their own earthly needs. The Apostle Paul used this Old Testament principle when he addressed the church at Corinth. In 1 Corinthians chapter 9 verse 11, Paul asked the Corinthian believers, "If we have sown spiritual seed among you, is it too much if we reap a material harvest from you?" Finally, with the grain offerings, we see that God asked Israel to use few specific ingredients in the offering. That was oil, salt, and incense. Now, oil refers to the Holy Spirit. You see, the Holy Spirit is the one who takes our ordinary work and enhances it in so many ways. He is the one who makes our work a blessing, and therefore believers always credit the enhancing work of the Spirit in everything they do. Next, the incense. You see, the incense cannot be eaten, but it would give a fine fragrance. The life of a believer, when lived with the quality that the Lord expects, will be a pleasing fragrance to the Lord. It will magnify the Lord. Finally, we also see that God asked Israel to add salt. Now, salt in the ancient world was used to preserve food. And not only that, ancient people used salt to show hospitality to others. They also used salt when they made covenants with others. Now you can see that Israelites enjoyed an enduring covenant with the Lord. And therefore, when they used salt in the grain offering, they showed that they had made an enduring covenant with the Lord. Overall, this grain offering makes believers realize that it is God who helps them in their work. Yet believers do not glorify the work of their hands, but the Lord who gives them the strength to do. Even today, when believers devote their offerings to the Lord, they credit God who blessed them in the work of their hands.
Thanks for listening. We'll see you tomorrow for the next episode of the Word for Life podcast.